And welcome back to Deep Thought. We are going through 999 and we're searching for Snake. But first, we're going to be talking to Lotus a little bit.
You would think Clover would have just put Snake on a leash or something.
Well, as we said before, he, even though he's blind, he's very well, jeez, what is the word? He's very well,
Oriented?
yeah, very well oriented towards just, like, moving on his own and sensing, like, what's around him. Yeah, which I highly respect.
Then also, if we didn't have the blind guy not have a cane, then it gets even confusing more so. Because then it's like, why does that guy have a cane? Oh, no, it's because he's blind. Well, there you go.
Yeah, that would be an awkward conversation if you asked the wrong question. So Lotus has a proposition for us. She wants to team up.
Which, I was honestly waiting for this part of the game when the alliances start. Like, I figured from the get-go, like, that would have been a lot of this game would have been the alliance building and the backstabbing within those alliances. There's not as much of either. There is betrayal in this game, but it's more of people betraying, like, everyone. Instead of, like, oh, I was actually teaming up with these guys, not you. There's not a lot of, like, inner group betrayal. It's just more like one guy coming out as being against everyone. Which I think is okay. It's definitely not as interesting as when you see people within the group betray for other people within the group. Because then that sort of makes that sort of betrayal a bit more personal. Because it's like, you betrayed us for just other people.
Yeah, and just gonna rule out one person. It's not us. We don't betray anyone. We don't have that option, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're not one of those protagonists that is actually the bad guy with amnesia or with a split personality. No, there's no Fight Club shenanigans going on up in here.
Yeah, and I say unfortunately because even though it is always, I like having a good morality in games like these, like being the good guy. Sometimes it's a little fun. It's a nice change of pace to be the bad guy.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Like when you said us betraying, I was thinking, oh yeah, like along the storyline. But I didn't even realize that there could have been one part in this game where Zero was like, Junpei, if you kill her, I will let you go. And then you sort of get this choice of like say Zero gives you a gun, and it's like, do I shoot June and get to escape? Or I didn't even think of that the game could have went really dark like that. But no, we're not given that choice. We are morally just and are morally good at all times. We're stupid at points, but we're good.
Yeah, but like a situation like that, in my opinion, it probably wouldn't work unless they somehow made it work. Unless
you would have to get that option by picking the dick answer a lot. Like, they would have to have that set up from the get-go. Like, you would have to play as a dick throughout the whole game, and your reward would be the dick ending. Because, yeah, it is really pathetic when games have you like, oh, June, you're my super best friend. Let me listen to your stupid little stories. No, June, I think that's a really great idea. And then, oops, I got the bad ending. Time to shoot you. Like, that always comes across as sloppy, but I think it would work if you had, like, the jerk answer, and by consistently picking the jerk answer, that sets you on the path to get, like, a super betrayal ending.
So here we're going to talk to Clover. Doesn't seem a little too friendly, but that's understandable considering that her brother is missing.
You lost your brother. How pathetic are you?
Now, Mexi, don't have to be so brutal.
And we're starting to get some hints that without her brother, she's not the most stable apple in the bunch.
Just looking at you guys is pissing me off. Jeez.
I mean, she was sort of an edgy little girl in the first bit, but yeah, now she's kind of, she's going a bit off that deep end there.
It's getting a lot more serious. The sassiness it's gone. Now she's like, screw you, leave me alone, and I'm gonna go away and cry in a corner.
See, this is less unsettling now that I know that she is like she's a late teenager, possibly early 20-year-old young woman.
She's 18.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, when I thought she was like 13 or was actually like a young teenager, this made it worse because it was like, yeah, I can see her being this emotionally unstable. I mean, teens for the most part get moody, but you know, in a stressful situation, having her go off like that, it was like, oh man, like it's not that unrealistic, but at the same time, it's like, holy shit, this 13-year-old's pretty threatening. What the fuck? But now that I know that she's 18, it's less creepy. I don't know. Now it just seems like get over it. Like I'm not as sympathetic to her situation as when I thought she was younger.
Still, like any person who loses their sibling without any explanation, I think that maybe reacting that way, maybe a little tad, it's a tad of an overreaction, but still, it's understandable.
Having a reaction is understandable, but when she's like, don't touch me! Leave me alone! It's like, okay, chill, like, cause like I said, at this point, being 18 and having that reaction kind of indicates that she's a bit codependent, as opposed to, like I said, I thought she was just dependent on Snake as being, like, a guardian, but no, now it's like, wait, why are you acting like this? It's like, you're a sovereign individual, you can take care of your own damn ass. Oh, June, I see you have a thing for the older men. See, I can make things about you sound nasty dirty, too.
Well, Ace is quite the gentleman, I must say.
But, Homegirl needs Jesus. Homegirl needs Jesus and, maybe a cold shower.
Maybe a couple glasses of wine, too, just maybe settle things down.
I don't know. I think drunk June would just end up being, Did you guys hear about the aliens? Like, no, June, we have not heard about the aliens. Please, tell us how they're super factual because this one book said something about them.
So here we're going to be talking to Santa now. And this is probably the most interesting conversation out of all four because, well, let's face it, this is one of the more boring parts of the game. In my opinion, It's fine. Oh, at least to Mexi, I'm saying.
To me, it definitely was. First time I played this game, I sort of... because I was really happy that I got the puzzle solved. I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting used to this game. This is moving along. And then I just hit, you know, the story part of the game, which I shouldn't be surprised. But this one was... I don't know, like I said, you had some good ideas with alliances being built. But... like, just the whole fact that the whole story comes to a stop because one character's missing. It's like, if he's missing, I'm leaving him behind. I kind of want to get out of here, guys.
So, Santa had asked us who could have maybe fixed the scanners, put the parts back in. There were 4 options. It was Snake, Zero, Lotus, or someone other than the 8 of us. The first time through, I think... and this counts for like the first time I was actually playing, I think I may have chosen that someone other than the 8 of us action because I was just curious as to maybe see what maybe there's a possibility that someone else is on this ship. But as Santa says, like, Zero would not have let that happen because there has to be 9 people on this ship. If there's another person, that's kind of an unfair advantage, maybe.
Well, the thing is that Zero can count as a 9th person. Like I said, by naming himself a number, he incorporates himself into the nonary game by default. He may not be 1 through 9, but he's a numbered player. So, I could see that, and there is always the possibility that the 9th guy is not dead. That could have been a giant charade of him being blown up. I mean, it's really hard to tell the difference between a blown-up human and a blown-up pig corpse.
Well, his glasses were there and they were cracked, so actually no, that he probably could have stepped on him. I don't know. A blown-up pig and a blown-up human, I think that is rather similar, but I don't think it's similar enough that they wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, well, the stress can play funny things on your perception and memory. All I'm saying is that, like, someone other than the 8 of us isn't as far-fetched as some people might think. Like, a lot of people might be like, oh, that can't be one of the answers. Like, it very well can be one of those. I mean, we don't even know how big the ship is. We don't even know if we're the only nonary game going on.
So, unfortunately, we couldn't find Snake. And as you saw in those last choices there, if you had gone to back at any of the rooms that you were in previously, or areas I should say, no one would be there, and you just have to choose another option, and you just going back and forth until you just give up completely. No matter what, you basically have to give up.
See, that's another reason why this part is kind of dumb. It's like, what was even the point of that? Just continue the story.
It gives some insight on some of the characters, like, for example, Clover, how unstable she is without her brother, and the possibility of who put the parts back. And maybe there's someone else on the ship? Maybe?
I don't know. But that to me just seems like a really irrelevant problem. Like, finding Snake, okay. Yeah, I get it, because if you don't want to be an asshole, you kind of want to maximize the number of survivors of the nonary game, maybe even to stick it to 0, but, like, the thing is fixed. Just go. Who cares? Like, yeah, I guess that maybe it was broken or repaired as a trap, or there was some significance, but, like, as our goal right now is to just make it through the ship, get to the number 9 door. Let's get to the number 9 door, guys. Doesn't matter.
So Lotus has yet another proposal. It's another brilliant proposal from this woman. She wants to sacrifice one of us in order for all of the other people to go through the doors and potentially get out of the ship. And again, at this point, it's not entirely sure if they're going to be staying together for the entire game. Even though that first part was a big hint, they're still not sure.
That's kind of cold, Clover. I mean, I know I've talked about upping the ante of the nonary game if I were in charge of it, but, you know, if I was a player, I don't think I could just outright sacrifice someone. I mean, I would probably not get too distraught if, like, some people just didn't win, but I wouldn't willingly, like, cause casualties.
So, yeah, I also didn't know that Clover got blue hair and got into a stripper outfit, because,
Lotus, Clover, they're flowers, bro. Well, you know what? Clover is just as unstable. She could be caught thinking the same shit. But yeah, Lotus. Lotus is a prick who wants to kill people. Shame on you. Especially knowing your familial situation. Shame on you. And Clover, stop being popular. Stop it. Just, no. I'm done with seeing the Clover cosplays.
You couldn't have, like, that kind of mental breakdown. Oh, jeez. That's funny.
Meanwhile, Ace, you stay Ace. You stay you.
He's gonna stay him. But yeah, Ace has volunteered. I volunteer as tribute. He's going to be our tribute.
Well, he also minimizes a few, because being number 1, I mean, it gives you a bit more freedom in, like, your number possibilities. Because I know that there's only certain combinations that will require, like, 4s or 2s or 3s, but being 1, you don't really knock a lot of numeric possibilities out of, like, your watch pool. Especially since you've gotten rid of 9 already.
Well, as Zero pointed out in the beginning, 9 is the most important number. So Maybe.
Yeah, well, 9 would have been important only because you can add him to any group. Like, literally any. Just because wouldn't he just double their numeric from 9? Oh, no, he would have actually fucked up a lot of people's. You would want a 0 watch. The 0 watch would obviously be the best watch, but no one's got that.
So here's everyone arguing as to whether Ace should be sacrificed or not. And more people seem to be on Lotus's side, or should I say, they kind of agree, and maybe Ace should be sacrificed. I keep saying sacrifice like that because he's not really being I guess it could be considered a sacrifice. It's more like just leaving a guy behind.
He's old. He seems to have lived a good life. I think he's good. Whatever.
But and maybe there is another way off this ship. Maybe the number 9 door is where they're at, and they just missed it somehow. And maybe he saw it, and he didn't tell anyone, so he could probably go through that way.
Maybe we're supposed to stand on our heads and go through the number 6 door.
Oh, you silly boy.
That's how the nonary game works, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. June, though, she's still not too convinced that this is a good idea.
Hey, June. I bet the aliens would have left 1 and Ace. I think the aliens want you to just shut up and keep walking. And you wanna know what? The mummy agrees too, so let's go. It's like, I just don't get how she could be the way she is. Like, girl, most people believe in silly things, but it's very rare for someone to go to do a fucking hat trick and just believe in every single silly thing in the book.
So you're saying she believes in unicorns? She believes in...
Let me put it to you this way. If she were to bedazzle that sweater of hers, she would be Mabel. And then I would enjoy her more. Because as she is now, she's a bit insufferable.
Yeah, she's a bit plain looking, I guess you could say. But, again, she's cute. So she gets a pass. We're just going to keep saying that every time we bring it up.
Oh, goody.
So, Ace, as he's volunteered himself as tribute, has decided to inject himself in this suspicious-looking chemical.
Called Soparil Beta? Okay.
I've never heard of that chemical in real life.
I'm just gonna go with the fact that he wanted to trip out for a bit. I mean, gross situation. Some people just can't handle it, so they escape it in drugs.
Actually, it's just some sort of anesthetic, but it could be interpreted. It could be like that. Anesthesia is generally very pleasant before you completely knock out and don't remember anything for the next couple hours or so.
Yeah, but we don't judge. I mean, he's not hurting no one but himself.
It was his decision to be sacrificed, so he will abide by that decision. And he'll have a nice dream.
Fucker didn't even bother to share, but then again, sharing needles isn't nice. Also, I decided to look it up for a bit, and I guess Soparil is actually a common name for promethazine, which is used for treating motion sickness, nausea, and dizziness. It's also used for treating allergic reactions. Yeah, so it's really just, it's an antihistamine, which if anyone who's taken Benadryl knows, it makes you sleepy. It's a sedative.
So, yeah, it's another item that's been kind of lost in translation, I guess. Well, not really lost in translation, just named differently.
Well, I've seen Soperil used as its street name. I mean, but like if they had said, "Oh, it's probethazine," that probably would have been like, "Really, guys? Like you changed a letter. Just call it promethazine."
Well, Soperil, does it anywhere on the place that you're looking at say that Soperil is actually an anesthetic?
Nothing on the Soperil itself, but just the promethazine is it's not an anesthetic, it's an antihistamine. So it's just used to settle.
So they're getting a little bit better. They have the name right, but they kind of have the definition wrong. For the most part, I guess.
He's using a medicine that knocks you out to knock himself out. Whatever.
Something like that.
At least he's not saying that. At least he's not saying that. Oh, it's based on water or some shit. I injected myself with Ice 9. Why would you do that? Didn't you read the book? It freezes any normal water on contact.
So as we're deciding which door to go into next, I decided on going through door number 8. Or should I say, Junpei decided on going through door number 8. And as it turns out, he and June can't go through the same door in this situation. Yeah, if all 6 people were go into separate doors, he and June couldn't go into the same door. And as he's pointed out, 3 and 4 can't go in the same door, and 7 and 8 can't go in the same door.
Well, too bad. Now someone else is gonna have to listen to June's stupid stories on stupid things that aren't real.
But
like, look, the cute card only gets you so far. It only gets you so far.
Yeah. But Junpei is pretty good at calming her down.
Yeah, I guess there is sort of a benefit to hearing those stories and sitting through them all, because at least she hasn't thrown a fit. Like, who knows? She could be worse than Clover. I mean, we let Lotus come up with an idea and it involved killing someone. Who knows what's going through June's head?
A lot of things, probably.
Yeah, 7 is good. He doesn't have the burden of his memories of stupid ideas. It's like, well, we should have 7 come up with an idea.
I think that was an idea. I think he had said that even though that they're going to be separated, they'll probably still come back together at some point. Because, in his words, Zero, that son of a bitch, wants to have as much fun as he can get.
That, and also, because if you also have to think about how many number doors are left over, we do have to do a re-scramble for any sort of escape to be possible. Yeah, I agree with you saying I wouldn't want to be in the same group as Clover either. I like how it's like, dude, just say it the way everyone else says. I ain't going with the crazy bitch. Nope. She's moody right now. Who knows what she'll do?
Yeah, she isn't crazy just yet. I mean, she did, impatient, probably. That's a better term.
She's impatient and moody, and honestly, like, I know in real life I wouldn't deal with someone like that in a situation like this, or even in a situation a quarter the tense as this. Be like, look, I know you're having issues, but we're all having issues. Get moving.
Well, as we go through door number 8, we're going with Lotus and Clover, by the way, so that should be quite interesting.
So the murderer and the girl who's a little unhinged. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, that's really good.
Just the team needed for survival.
All right. Well, as we go through the number 8 door, we will see you on the next episode of Deep Thought.